Hello there, this is Donna Reiners, and it is Thursday afternoon, and I had a thought that came to mind today that I felt was pretty important, and it was a reminder to me, but not just a reminder to me. You know, when is something only a reminder to you? Do you know? Have you ever had a moment when you realize that what you're thinking is something you thought before? And the idea you had was something you had before, but it's like it made full circle. It could be a little thought regarding just one small item. It could be a lifelong direction that you've known forever that you went away from, and then the thought continues to come and you make full circle. It's difficult sometimes to know exactly what to do, right? I meet people that are just super confident. I'm like, yeah. But then I also meet people that they have this real strength about them, hearing God all the time. And even in that moment, they're not quite sure what to do, but they know they will know what to do. That's the difference, right? And so things can change fast in your life, and things can change fast in the lives of those around you and in the lives of those that you love, family members. So one thing to keep in mind is to ask yourself, what is your part in where you are right now today? What are you supposed to do? And then, well, what is God supposed to do? What's his part? You don't put your part into him. He didn't put his part into you. He's basically already won the war and won all the battles, and we get to reinforce what he's already won on our behalf. So what is the inheritance for you in what you're looking at? Where is the place that you can grow and you can mature in the situation that you're in, or in partnership with someone else whose life has changed quickly, and they're in a situation, whether it be pain or transition or complete movement, or things are out of their control and they're not knowing what to do, and they're looking for courage from you. They're looking for wisdom from you. And we get to stand as still as we can to be courage and wisdom for those around us. And sometimes we're being courageous and wise for someone else, and they have no idea that you're going through something where you need courage and you need wisdom. Sometimes we have that hat on where we're loving people and walking out life with them, but they have no idea the tension you're in, the change you're in. Because I'm telling you, when you're in something that is strong and you're in something that feels like it's over your head, it's very difficult to not be all-consuming. It's very, very difficult to not be completely all-consuming with whatever's happening in your world, and basically not care what's going on with other people's worlds, not because you don't care, but because in your mind right at that moment, you don't have the time or the inclination to wonder what's going on in their world, because you're literally either drowning or you're in quicksand and you feel like you're going under and you're looking for a rope, or you're just basically freaking out and so unsure and feeling so insecure that you just need a assuring presence from someone else. These are all very doable things. And if you're the person that needs the wisdom and the courage, but you're giving the wisdom and the courage, if you'll stand in that place where you know wisdom and courage comes from, and remain still and just remain level, you can be a strength and an encouragement to those around you, even while you're going through something that's stressful, or you're going through something that has shifted you so dramatically, or shifted a family member so dramatically that they don't know what to do. This is the real life. This is real life. This is not a Harlequin romance, right? This is not those wonderful shows that we watch that continue onward and onward and onward. This is real life. I tell people that are involved with things where they have a world that they're living in, or friends are living in, I said, you know what? Just glimpse into somebody's real life and you will find real life drama, real life trauma, real life trouble. You'll have bloodshed. You'll have all sorts of stuff going on, and it will hold your interest. It will hold your interest because real life has that capacity. Anyway, back to what I'm saying. So things can change fast in your life and in the lives of those around you. So what do you do? What is your part when someone else's life is changing? What is God's part when someone else's life is changing? What is their part when their life is changing? At the same time, your life might be changing. You might have things that you are also needing to be obedient in at the same time. So, this is called ministering to the ministers. And you don't have to be religious to do it. So if you're watching this and you don't have that thing with God that you think I'm talking about, no. I'm saying to you, we're all in a place where sometimes we have all hell breaking loose in our life, and we have friends around us that we consider our loved ones, and we consider we're all in, and we consider they're our family, they're deep friends, whatever, and all hell's breaking loose in their life too. So how can you be two places at one time? You take a deep breath. And you remember, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit live inside of you. So you have access to wisdom. You have access to your worth. You have access to understand what's happening in the life of that other person, even sometimes beyond what they can see, so that you can encourage them and strengthen them. Not so you can be God for them, not so you can have all the answers for them, because sometimes you're just not going to have that, but so that you can be available to them. And maybe you can only be available to them to pray, which I know some people are like, well, that's kind of lame if that's all you're going to do. Well, you know, prayer's pretty freaking powerful. And it can be, if that's all you can do, please do it. If you can also, maybe you can't dedicate like the next week to go help this person and all these things in a practical way that you want to, your heart yearns to. But maybe you can say, you know what, I have 2 hours on this day. I have 2 hours on this other day. And you keep it to that time frame so that you get a lot of things done. So you're not chit-chatting, but you're working and you're helping them and you're being there for them in a real way. So at the end of that time, they're like, wow, look at what we got accomplished. And then they walk away from that situation going, I feel better. We were really productive. That's one way, excuse me. There might be a way you can help someone financially if you can't be there physically. I have a very close friend that's had some strong situations financially, and I love them with everything within them. And I've not been able to really be there for them, but I have been able to financially help them in some small ways. It's not been huge ways because I don't have the huge resources to do that, but I have helped as I could. Maybe you can help someone financially. And in the midst of all that going on in all these lives where maybe you could lean in and think, well, what about me? I got stuff going on. If you'll stop and go, wow, God, you are faithful, you're kind, you're good, you're compassionate, you're merciful, and you're gracious. And the same wisdom and the same courage and the same worth that I'm giving to these that need a hand or need a heart or need a shoulder or need a physical help in some way is the same wisdom and worth and kindness and compassion that I have available too inside of me. And so you also need to make room for you and those with you that you're responsible for. Now, I'm not talking about these out here now. There's you and you have someone you're responsible with or for in your private group, your private world, behind closed doors where nobody sees you. And this is your primary place. This is your first place of responsibility, of hearing God for it. It is not attractive to just run out there and take care of all these things even in emergency mode and leave those with you in emergency mode. I used to say this: you don't run over the person you're with to go honor the person you're not with. You don't dishonor to honor, because dishonor plus honor still equals dishonor. And so you have to make room, make availability for needs to be met in real ways. And not just be all spiritual and say, well, it'll be all right. Well, you know, it may not be all right. if you actually have a bill to pay, if you actually have meals that have to be cooked, if you actually have someone that relies on you and depends on you, it may not be okay. So that's your first place. And guess what that means? That means God is so faithful and he's so kind and he's so good. He has made this. He has made provision for this. This is not the burden. Sometimes you step out to do this, and this over here will become the burden because this is already your place of responsibility. Does that make sense at all? Come on. Does it make sense at all? Because we wonder sometimes if we feel overburdened or we feel overpowered or we feel overwhelmed, like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? It might be because there's all this over here you're trying to take care of and this too. But if you'll take care of this first, your primary, and then leave some room for the secondary versus make the secondary your primary and just make room for this when you can. But when you're living here and you come home to this and this is left and you're always facing this will feel like a burden, and then you'll feel resentful and you'll be upset and you'll wonder what the hey, when actually this is the place of peace. Out here are the places of pieces. This is a place of peace. These are priorities. Listen, I remember years ago, and don't shoot me down, don't get mad at me. I remember years ago, we would have things happening in our families, and I would be the one at all the conferences. And I would basically be oh my God, I'm so sorry too, blowing off my family because I was going to do something religious. Now listen, it's not just religious. It's growing in the Lord. It's being equipped. It's being, there's having breakthrough and worship and all those things. Those are powerful things. They're important things, and they're great things. But I was in the mode for years where I literally ignored those I was with to go do those things, and I wasn't the minister, right? I wasn't the one doing the stuff. I was going to be part of the stuff by just being present. And I didn't realize that this here was very important to God. I thought this over here was more important to God because I was going to grow and I was going to change and I was going to be equipped and I was going to conquer the world. When this, I'm going to grow and I'm going to change and I'm going to conquer the world right here. Why? Because God is ever as much here as he is over there when I'm there. He's here. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit's here, right here in my house. I got ground beef out for dinner. And I got some lettuce. And I got some leftover chicken. Okay? It's not fancy, but that's what I got going. Because I'm thinking for later this evening. Do I always do that? No. But you know what? There's things going on in our house right now, in my life right now, and I realize I got to get my priorities straight. So I'm moving some things around so that I'm looking at the home front. Okay, I'm getting this and this and this and this done. For me, for here. And then whatever I have available in addition to that, I will make available over here. And there are needs that people have. I'm talking real needs. I'm talking needs that are and if you're in ministry and you're around ministry people, you get what I'm saying. You love God and you love to care for people. You know that there are real needs. People that have real things happening in their life, that if those needs aren't met, they could be like in a hurt place. A hurt place, a real hurt place, not just they get their feelings hurt, but a hurt place, right? And so it's making room. So this is how you make room. You take out the chatter. I used to call Facebook the chatter. But now Facebook has gotten to a place where there's so much we communicate inside of Facebook in Messenger and stuff, which is real conversations, and you don't even have people's phone numbers anymore. So in that place, if you can control yourself, that's a place, not a play, but that's a place where there's real lives going on, where you have communication. But if you have a social media place where it's where you play, well, that's my downtime. Well, if you're taking downtime, 5 hours of downtime, and you're going to wonder why you're stressed over here and you can't get these things done, because you're using all that downtime when that could be win time. W-I-N, I win. God's in me, and together we're going to get a plan, and we're going to take action, and we're going to spend 3 hours of that in a productive way so that when I go to bed at night, I have peace, and I'm not in pieces for what I didn't get done, right? And that last hour, take some time to be still and know that He is God, and He has got you, and He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. He loves you. He's for you. He's for you. He's for you. Sometimes we don't realize that God is for us because we have so much hell breaking loose in us and around us. And this person just says, sometimes it is ministry to yourself. Well, that's right. You know, what is that old adage about, you throw out a lifesaver, a life jacket out there to someone, but you don't have one for yourself, and you drowned. Look, so this is not about being self-centered, self-minded, self-serving. This is how do you process through your real life, either as just a person who ministers, because everybody ministers in some way, shape, or form, or a person who is in ministry where everybody's life is out of balance because everybody's got an emergency and they look to you to fill it. And you don't have to have an ordination or a ministry reverend attached to your name for people to have needs and to turn to you and need you, because people wear ministry hats without any kind of certificate, people. Because we're made to love each other and to minister each other. And so, if you don't feel like you know God real well, I just want to tell you something. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit live inside of you, and they're well able to direct you and let you hear their voice so you know that they know you. So you can have this relationship happen so that it's not a tug of war, but it's a partnership. It's a marriage. It's a relationship. So you know how to respond to the one who lives inside of you and to be in peace and not pieces. So get still. Spend some time just in silence and listening. I'm talking just listening. Get to a place of peace in that place of listening. Sit down and make a list of what needs to be done today, not tomorrow, not the next day. Now, if you are a person and you've got so much in your brain that if you don't write it all down, you're going to go crazy, get yourself a yellow notepad with a pen and just write it all down. Like, give yourself a total brain dump. Just dump it all out. Don't put order to it. Just dump it all out. Dump it out until you can't think anymore. I don't care if it's 5 pages long. And then sit and say, okay, God, what now? And maybe take a yellow marker and just literally mark, I can do this today, I can do this today, and stop and turn away and go do those 2 things and don't do anything else. Don't do anything else. Do nothing else. And if you get those 2 things done, then go back to this overwhelming page. Okay, what's one more thing to do? I do that, mark that, again, go do that one thing. Don't look at anything else. Because if you've got all this on your mind and you feel like you need to do all those things, let me tell you something. If you sit and you try to organize it, it'll take you 2 weeks to organize it. And by then, you could have 10 of those things done. Listen, these are practical ways to handle real ministry in your life where you have your own private world and you have the lives of those around you have real things going on, right? Real things going on. And there's a partnership going on where you all need each other and you all love each other, right? And so you take a deep breath and you look at what you can do. If there's something that that you can help someone with partially without it removing you so much that you get nothing else done, then go spend an hour. It might even help you recalibrate what you're trying to get done, right? And so I hope this helps. I know it seems a little scattered, but there's so many emergencies going on. And we all have needs right now, all of us. I don't know anybody right now that doesn't have some kind of need that's imperative or has something that's happening that's so incredibly overwhelming that they'd rather cash it in. I mean, there are a lot of things going on in our world. So take a breath. Don't discount the peoples around you. If someone else has something going on that you think is, well, that's nothing compared to what I go on, you need to shut your mouth. Seriously. Because that person who's got that going on, that could be ever much as overwhelming as what you have going on. Maybe you're in a different place of development or maturity, and maybe you can handle all these things. And there might be somebody over here that can handle 1,000 times more than you got, and they would laugh at you. So let's just not nobody laugh at nobody. Let's nobody laugh at anybody. And let's mature one step at a time, and let's love each other one step at a time, and let's help each other one step at a time. And listen, if you are at a place where all is good and you're bored, I got a list of people that you can go help. You can just private message me and tell me. Maybe you have a couple hours a day. I commit. If I know you, I guarantee there's some way you can serve in a way that's real and viable and make someone else maybe not lose their mind just because you are literally doing something specific. And yes, our problems are just exactly that. They are our problems. However, there are times when we need to step away from our problems and allow someone else to have input into that problem. Because sometimes that box, it may seem overwhelming, and then we go open it and go, dang, I have not wanted to open this. And look at it. It's just junk, and I didn't even know. I was so overwhelmed. I didn't even want to look at it. I didn't want to see it. But then you get into it like it's really not that big a deal. Dump the whole freaking thing. Listen, there's so many things that can occur. So many things that can occur. So, like what she said, no shortage of prayer, money, food, house cleaning, hugs, or other things needed. Everyone can give and everyone can receive. Absolutely. So if you watch this and you're bored and you're in the Houston-Katy area, hey, look, I got a ministry, and you are welcome to come and do something Bible, like help someone clean out their storage, or take meals to a family that has some kids and they're overwhelmed, or as long as you can cook. I'm just kidding. Or pick up something. Or maybe there's someone that's in transition and moving, and they just need some help organizing something. Or maybe they need beds changed, bedding changed, right? Maybe somebody just needs some bedding washed and changed, and that could be a great big help for someone who's over here trying to do this over there. Maybe there's an elderly person that you can sit with for a couple hours, watch a movie with, feed, have some laughs. You know, elderly people have a lot in their brain, and they've lived a life that if you knew about, it'd probably be better than any book you ever read. Or maybe there's a family with some kids that just need somebody to be in the backyard with them for a few hours while the mom or dad go to dinner, or the mom just goes and actually has a moment alone where she goes, wow, I hear my thoughts. Oh yeah, I can talk more than baby talk. There's all sorts of ways to encourage someone, to strengthen someone, and not to lose your own mind in the midst of encouraging and strengthening someone else. Now, there are times when if you've got 10 things in front of you and 10 people have needs, and they're all different needs, and they're all so strong, and you have some needs where maybe you need to just stop, take a deep breath, look at what you got to get done. I mean, yesterday I had 25 text messages that I had yet to get to by like 8 o'clock at night. And I was like, oh my goodness, because I needed those few hours to do what I was doing, and I did not have my phone with me so that I could accomplish it, right? But then I needed to go through and follow through that. It took me yesterday and today to do that. And then one person I literally missed altogether. I have no idea what's happened. I'm trying to follow through with them. I'm trying to follow up with them, and I can't get through to them. I have left messages, so they know I'm available now, but I don't know what's happened. So that can even concern you. You just got to take a deep breath and let the burden belong to the Lord and not belong to you. So these are just real tips on the way in a season where things seem to be changing quickly. And sometimes it can feel very discombobulating. You can feel quicksandy. It can feel quick sandy. Get it? Quick sandy. It can feel overwhelming. And if you'll take a deep breath and recalibrate just recalibrate where you are, recalibrate what you're doing. Don't commit to all these things out here when your own private swirl, your private swirl is overwhelming you. Don't run from your swirl and commit to all these things over here. Don't do it, because you'll just be overwhelmed the next day, and there you'll be with the same swirl that you avoided all day long by going to get a breath or going to vent or whatever. Don't do it. Just take a deep breath. Face who you are with what you have right here, and then move out from there. And if you can't do the things I was talking about, helping somebody else a little bit, you know what? That's okay too. It's really okay. God is smart, and God can move through other people as well. But if you can, and you've got, I remember one day, I just saw someone watching. I remember one day a dear friend of mine needed a chair, a different chair. And he was available with a truck. I needed a truck. I needed it quickly. And he was available. And he quickly changed some things, helped pick us up, go take care of that woman who's an elderly woman who could not pick it up herself, can barely lift herself up. And it was such a blessing. So if you have 2 or 3 hours available in your world where you can be a help to someone else, and just do it. But put a time frame on it so that you're not overwhelming yourself by ignoring what you got going on, right? Because then you still got to come back and live with you. You still got you to deal with. You still have you responsible for. You still have the person you're taking care of responsible for. You still have the spouse or the sister or the friend or the ministry or the job. All these things that God's already entrusted to you. Just recalibrate and take a deep breath and go, okay, God, here I am. Here I am. I am facing, my garage is now in my driveway. Okay, so Sandy Nelson, here you are. You're facing it. Your garage is now in your driveway. What a freaking mess. Okay, take a deep breath and look at it. Look at it through the eyes of peace, P-E-A-C-E. Look at the P-I-E-C-E-S, pieces, from a place of P-E-A-C-E. Right? And say, okay, God, what do I do? And let him show you. Let him give you a plan. Let him compartmentalize things. Let him take, these 3 can go together into this. These can go into this. These can go into this. Let the practical ministry of God come forth to organize and bring order into the things in your private world. You can do that by hearing his voice instead of just, let me just get this done. Don't do that. That's just somebody on the run. Anyway, I bless y'all today. Let me think if there's anything else. You got anything? So I just want to encourage you today in this day where things are ever changing and there's so much going on. Don't be so spiritually minded. Well, I'll pray for you, brother. I'll pray for you, sister. Right? Certainly pray. But I love what Doug Stringer used to say years and years ago. True intercession leads you to action. Right? So if you're really interceding for some family or something, and you're praying in strength and you have 3 hours that you can use in front of the TV, and that's how you're spending your time, I bet you could go to that person's house and you can either watch their elderly parent for a few hours and give them a break. You can wash their dishes and clean their kitchen. Don't just pray about it. You got people come into your mind, take action. Don't just think about it for months and months and months and months when they got all hell breaking loose and God's given it to you so that you can take action. These are practical ways to minister in a real way. You do not have to have a reverend hat on your head to be an action taker and to be a reverend in God's eyes in loving people. Let everything be done out of love, from love, because we owe no one else except for love. But love takes action. Love takes real action. Loving your biological family in a real way requires responsibility. It requires giving things up sometimes. It requires sacrifice. And all these things that take place if you're not used to doing them, it can make you feel resentful or bitter. It can challenge you in a way because you don't want to do it. I got my own family. I got my own thing going on, right? When you have all these resources that could be shared. So this is a multi-complex life that we live. But we're all responsible to Him, to ourselves, to one another in real life. No is not a bad word. Yes is not a bad word. It's seeing what He's saying and partnering with Him, not from a place of, I'm afraid I'm going to lose control. I'm afraid they're going to make me do this or that. All those things, those are fear. Everything done out of a place of love, right? Hearing the voice of love, being directed by the voice of love to take action from a place of love is going to make someone else feel loved. And then they're going to know there's a real God who loves them in a real way, that the world will taste and see and know that He is the Lord God Almighty and that there's none like Him. Right? This is real life. Anyway, bless you today. True intercession leads to action. Yes, it does. Even if you intercede. Shoot, what happened with Moses for 40 days and 40 nights, man? And then he had some stuff to do. And Jesus, when he hopped up in the mountain and did his thing, when he came down, guess what he did? He chose his disciples. He took some action. Listen to Father will lead you to action, right? And then we get to follow up and follow through with that action, even when it just does not make sense. Okay. Is it irresponsible to just throw it all away? Just make it leave, not sell it or give it away? It is not irresponsible. However, I would say this. If you in practical ways, Sandy Lee, in practical ways, there is a keep it, chunk it, and what's the other category? Sell it. Keep it, chunk it, sell it. The sell it one is probably similar to the keep it one. But if your heart is saying, you know what, I can just get rid of it, I don't care, then put what you think you can get money for in the sell it category. If you end up not selling it, then it can just go away. But the keep it category and the give it away category, handle them. And that way it's going out the door, going out the door, going out the door, going out the door. The sell it category can actually wait, put it in that category. And that's when, instead of making it a big deal where you're like, okay, I need to go do this ad, I need to go to eBay, and I need to do this, and I need to do that, and I need to do this. Instead of doing that, why don't you stop and go, you know what? Let me just put this on my Facebook. Hey, look. Hey, I've got this, that, and the other if anybody wants to come give me their best offer. Right? Put it in a place where people can see it. Put it at a time where people will see it. People don't see things at midnight. People post articles at midnight. I'm like, who's watching that? You get 2 likes, and that's why. You don't post it at a time when they're actually going to see it. So post your thought regarding the things you want to sell at a time where someone's actually going to see it. They will find value in it. Maybe they want it. Maybe they need it. You know? It's not like irresponsible. Your stuff can be given to someone else, and they can use that stuff. And then it's not being thrown away. Does that help at all? I hope so. Anyway, and also, don't be afraid to let someone else help you. It might be overwhelming, but what I mean by that is maybe they can help you in a way that isn't going to get on your nerves and that isn't going to overwhelm you, right? So if somebody can help you, like, you don't need them doing something where they're going to ask you a question every 5 minutes. If you're someone who has to stay focused in order to get your job done, that will make you crazy and you'll want to strangle them even though you love Jesus. So you might want to have them do something else. Maybe they can help you do something in the yard. Maybe they can, listen, crazy. Maybe they can empty things out of cartons. Maybe they can go through boxes and pull out very specific, pull boxes out of, books out of all these things. Put them in this, maybe they can take items out of boxes and literally put them in categories for you while you're just taking care of your business. And then you just go look at those things. Those are ways to organize things so that someone else can help you without it making you crazy and slowing you down to get your job done. Anyway, this is Donna, and I just had some thoughts about helping you do what you need to do. So don't be afraid. Be obedient. Obedience is not a 4-letter word. It's really not. Disobedience causes us a lot of pain and hardship. And some of us watch that disobedience for many years because we did it so consistently for so long. And then it takes a while to come on out of that into a place of obedience. And so, I have someone who says, come on over, everyone. I have work for you. Well, if there is someone out there that lives over in the Houston area between Beltway 8 and Highway 6, there is someone that could use your help in their garage. And it would be such a blessing. And if you don't mind driving, if you're farther than that, please do. Private message me. If I don't know you, we can have a little discussions. Make sure you're legit. And then I can hook you up with somebody who needs some actual help. Anyway, bless you. It's been longer than I thought, honestly. But I just felt like some folks need some real practical encouragement. Practical encouragement in the midst of a lot of things changing, in the midst of deadlines, in the midst of, oh my goodness, what am I going to do now? I have this to do and I've got to do it now and I don't have any choice. Some people are, my husband, when he gets deadlines, he's like, let's get it done. And he, whoom, right? Some people get deadlines like that and they're like paralyzed. Oh my God, what do I do? And then they need someone to help them. Okay, let's do this, 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 and this. Wherever you are, and however you are, doesn't matter. You still got to move forward. You still need to obey, and you still need to take care of your business. So however you get it done is what you need to get, and that's how you need to get it done. I bless you. If you have any thoughts, you have any ideas. If I don't know you, if you're not a friend on Facebook, you need to comment down below if you need to talk to me about any of these things, because I won't see your message, because if I don't know you, you go to another box, and I won't see it for a year. Anyway, I'm just telling you, that's the reality. Bless you today. This is Donna Reiners. Tomorrow, don't forget, we have Friday Fellowship around 10-ish, where we discuss random things that make us laugh, cry, and challenge us to move forward in things that are sometimes very difficult, but yet we've been empowered to do it, right? Finding that voice. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit living inside, the three living inside the one to move forward, because he already won. And we get to reinforce the win in our everyday life in real practical ways. I bless you today. Until soon, or until tomorrow at 10. Talk to you soon.